The new temporary homeless shelter on Riordon Street in St. Catharines is basically a partnership between the city and the region and the Ontario government to address the homelessness and mental health issues head on. Our Source crew had a chance to tour the facility. It is indeed impressive. Cameron, how did this come together?
Well, we were searching out different options, but it had to be rapidly done. So we're looking at, like, say, tiny homes options, and we thought the trailers, like these are trailers from out west for the oil sands workers.
Right.
So we thought we could ship them here and actually put it together faster, and just the model itself would work better.
Funded by the government, how much does this project cost?
It ran in about, with all the services, everything, about 2.6 million.
The crew that put this together, what was that process like?
A lot of local trades were involved in putting it together. They did send a crew from out west to drop the trailers in place, level them off, and build the hallways, but the rest of the services and everything were done by local trades.
They were dropped on top of blocks, am I?
Yeah, they just
correct?
to level them. So because the parking lot obviously is not level, so just to level them out, and then we just skirted the bottom of them.
How many rooms are in this facility?
It's around 60.
60 rooms. It's incredible. The land that it's on was owned by the city?
It's owned by the city. It's the city of the parking lot, yes.
City parking lot.
Yeah.
Were there any complications in putting this together at all?
Typically these are like in the oil sands, like I mentioned, so they're usually run with like diesel generators and propane tanks and like tanks for water and sewage. We actually ran services, so we have water, sewer, hydro, and gas. So we converted everything to gas, so we would have all that on site.
So you really needed the cooperation of all three levels of government for this?
Oh, absolutely. And the City of St. Catharines, their building department, and like I said, like in local utilities as well.
Kathy, in your role, you are helping to try and solve this homelessness problem here. Why is this such a great solution?
This solution met quite a number of needs for us. First, it was the sheer speed in which we were able to operationalize it. But previously in Niagara, we had seasonal shelters, which meant that we only offered it 5 months of the year and only from 7 p.m. till 7 a.m. And when you really look at best practice and the opportunities that somebody's going to need to move forward in their lives, we needed all day, all year shelters. We also wanted the opportunity to work with some of the encampments in the area and be able to support those individuals as well. So it was really important that we had something in St. Catharines to help them through those challenges.
When I think about someone staying in a homeless shelter and having to leave at 7 a.m., how do they spend the rest of their day? They're going to be on the street. Here, if someone doesn't want to go and wander around and find other people to talk to, they could stay in the room here at the shelter.
So the way we're operating it currently, and we're only on week 2, so we still have some growing pains, I'm sure, is during the day we actually lock the dorms and we ask everybody to come to the large community section, which is the kitchen, and where other agencies can come in and also offer supports.
It's even better.
So that their goals are to work on whatever challenges they may be experiencing, and we'll have some clients whose goal is to work on family reunification or opportunities to see their children, as well as attending their mental health supports, their addiction supports, and most importantly, working on their housing goals.
And staffed by people from the region 24 hours a day?
Yes.
What are some of the other, I guess some of the offerings that you have for them in those group sessions?
So largely they are staffed by intensive case managers, and their education and role on site is to help them with connections to community resources. And it's really important that they connect to community as much as possible so that when we do house them, they can continue those relationships and not be dependent on their case manager.
And the goal is to have these people housed permanently eventually.
Yes, it is, and we can happily say that we've already successfully housed one person in our first 2 weeks.
Amazing. That's great success.
Yes.
This will only last, Cameron, for 2 years. It's a 2-year program?
It's a temporary space for 2 years. Now we'll be looking for a permanent shelter in St. Catharines. And that's the reason why we chose this model as well. So now we can move these to another community.
So what are some of the options for a permanent shelter in St. Catharines? What kind of thing would you be looking for?
Either we're going to find a piece of land that maybe build something, or have to repurpose a building, or we're just starting that process now.
Do you expect that this will take some time then?
Yes. We've looked at 90 sites already.
Where does this facility end up when those 2 years are over?
That's still to be determined, wherever the greatest need is.
So the Ontario government would find a place for it, Kathy? Is that what happens? Or
No, it will stay in Niagara. The contribution from the Ontario government was to Niagara region, so we now own the asset, and it is in our title. So it would move within another jurisdiction. We've looked at the opportunities to expand in the south, so we could consider something in the southern section of Niagara region. We've looked at opportunities in the falls. We will, in 2 years, do a bit of a scan and understand where is the best place to put this. And again, taking into account the amount of time and the opportunities available and a piece of land.
But it is considered that it will leave St. Catharines and go to another municipality in Niagara. Is that chosen? Is that basically rubber stamped?
That it will stay in Niagara region, yes. Where it will go exactly, I can't say right now. It'll be where the demand is.
Where the demand is.
Yeah.
Have you seen people setting up tents near the shelter already?
So we had a number of tents in that community prior to us going in. We're happy to say that there was 14 tents actually in the area when we first went in, and there's only 5 now. We have successfully brought in a number of individuals that feel comfortable in this structure to come in and start to work on their goals.
Is that another sort of advantage of it, the fact that they might set up their tent near that shelter in proximity to you and your services?
Actually, we would prefer that they didn't set up in that community. It's a big ask of community to have a shelter placed
Right.
in a neighborhood. So the commitment that we've made to that neighborhood in partnership with the city is that we will prioritize individuals who are in encampments in that neighborhood for access to the shelter in an effort to make the community feel safer and not have encampments in their jurisdiction.
Is the fact that the Westview Center for Women is moving into the old Start Me Up space nearby, is that an advantage as well, that these two organizations can work together?
So we did go over and meet with them the other day and kind of get to know your neighbor opportunity. They do have we do have shared clients. We've already established that, so we will work together.
Thank you for shedding a lot of light on this, Cameron. Kathy, appreciate you coming in today.
Thank you.
Thank you.